Like and subscribe to support the channel. Donations welcome.
The protections afforded by landlord-tenant law extend beyond the specifics of lease agreements and eviction procedures. A crucial layer of legal protection involves the prevention of housing discrimination, a complex issue addressed primarily by the Fair Housing Act, FHA, of 1968. This landmark legislation prohibits discriminatory housing practices based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, familial status, including children under 18, pregnant women, and those with legal custody of children, and disability. The FHA's reach extends to a wide array of housing-related activities, significantly impacting the lives of millions of Americans. The Act applies not only to the rental market, but also to the sale, financing, and advertising of housing. The FHA's power lies in its broad definition of discriminatory practices. It's not simply about outright refusal to rent or sell a property to someone based on a protected characteristic. The Act also encompasses a range of subtler and more insidious forms of discrimination. For instance, steering, a practice where real estate agents or landlords guide prospective tenants or buyers towards certain neighborhoods based on their race, religion, or other protected characteristic, is explicitly prohibited. Imagine a scenario where an agent consistently directs Black families to properties in predominantly Black neighborhoods while showing white families properties in exclusively white areas, even if the family's preferences or financial abilities would allow them to live in other, more diverse neighborhoods. This constitutes steering, a clear violation of the FHA. Similarly, the FHA prohibits discriminatory advertising, advertisements that suggest a preference for certain groups while excluding others. For example, an ad for a rental property that explicitly states "no children allowed," or one subtly implying a preference for certain racial groups through imagery or language, are illegal. Even if the intent is not overtly discriminatory, the impact of such advertising on potential tenants or buyers is crucial. The FHA interprets the impact of advertising in line with the intent to create a fair and equal opportunity. This means even ads that seem innocuous on the surface can be deemed discriminatory if they effectively limit access to housing for individuals within protected groups. Discriminatory lending practices also fall under the purview of the FHA. Lenders cannot deny mortgages or other forms of housing financing based on a protected characteristic. This includes redlining, the practice of refusing to provide services or investment in certain neighborhoods based on their racial or ethnic composition. Redlining often disproportionately impacts minority communities, resulting in limited access to affordable housing and contributing to systemic inequalities. The effects of redlining linger even today, despite legal prohibitions, as they have created significant disparities in homeownership rates and wealth accumulation amongst different racial and ethnic groups. The FHA further mandates reasonable accommodations for people with disabilities. This means landlords must make reasonable modifications to their properties to accommodate the needs of disabled tenants, even if it involves some cost to the landlord. For instance, a landlord might be required to install ramps for wheelchair access or modify a bathroom to accommodate a tenant's mobility device. The reasonable accommodation doesn't extend to unreasonable burdens on the landlord, but the balance favors making the housing accessible whenever feasible. A key point here is that reasonable is determined on a case-by-case basis, considering factors like the cost of the modification, the size of the building, and the impact on other tenants. Furthermore, the FHA includes provisions for reasonable modifications, differentiating this provision from reasonable accommodation. Reasonable modifications are physical changes made to a property by a disabled tenant, but they must not alter the fundamental structure of the unit. These modifications must be restored to their original state at the end of the tenancy unless the landlord agrees otherwise. For example, installing grab bars in a bathroom is a reasonable modification, but a complete restructuring of the bathroom layout is likely not. The difference between accommodations and modifications hinges on who performs the alteration and the extent of the changes made. The FHA also prohibits retaliation against individuals who file complaints of housing discrimination. Landlords or other housing providers cannot retaliate by raising rent, evicting a tenant, or otherwise punishing someone for reporting discriminatory practices. This anti-retaliation clause is designed to protect victims from further harm and to encourage reporting of such violations. The legal protection against retaliation reinforces the importance of filing complaints and pursuing available remedies. Many individuals hesitate to report discrimination out of fear of retaliation, but this crucial protection underscores the importance of not allowing fear of reprisal to stifle legitimate complaints. Enforcement of the FHA relies on a combination of administrative and judicial mechanisms. Victims of housing discrimination can file complaints with the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, which investigates allegations and can initiate legal action against violators. Alternatively, individuals can pursue legal remedies in federal court, seeking monetary damages, injunctions to stop discriminatory practices, and other forms of relief. The available remedies are substantial, often involving significant financial penalties for those found in violation of the Act, illustrating the seriousness with which housing discrimination is viewed under federal law. Numerous court cases have shaped the interpretation and application of the FHA. Landmark cases have clarified the scope of protected characteristics, the definition of discriminatory practices, and the available remedies for victims. These court decisions provide valuable precedents for future cases, ensuring the Act remains relevant and effective in addressing the evolving dynamics of housing discrimination. Examining past cases provides critical insights for interpreting and applying the Act. This ongoing judicial interpretation clarifies aspects of the FHA, providing guidance for both parties and those involved in the enforcement of the Act. In addition to the FHA, various state and local laws may offer additional protections against housing discrimination. Some jurisdictions have expanded the list of protected characteristics to include things such as sexual orientation, gender identity, marital status, and source of income. These supplementary protections build upon the federal framework, offering more comprehensive protections in certain areas. Consequently, the legal landscape can differ depending on the specific jurisdiction. This creates more complexities for understanding the full spectrum of legal protections against housing discrimination. Understanding the Fair Housing Act and related state and local laws is crucial for both landlords, tenants, and anyone involved in the housing market. Awareness of discriminatory practices, the legal recourse available to victims, and the potential penalties for violators is essential for promoting fair housing and ensuring equal opportunities for all. Education and awareness are key components in preventing and addressing housing discrimination. Active participation in advocating for fair housing rights is necessary to create a more equitable housing system. The continued evolution of these laws and their interpretation is crucial to the ongoing quest for equal housing opportunities for all. The dynamic nature of this legal area underscores the need for vigilance and continuous learning to ensure everyone's rights are protected. The ultimate goal is to create a housing market where everyone has equal access to safe, decent, and affordable housing, regardless of their race, religion, national origin, sex, familial status, or disability.
Like and subscribe for more content.